tips, which hardly any of us ever get to. We're still hung up on the content, okay? Or we're still arguing the point. So when we finally get to empathy, that's when that brain has calmed down and you feel a so when the teen is feeling something, when the teen is feeling something overwhelming, remember it's 3 times more than we feel as adults. It's like they're drowning. And you look and you go, you could probably stick in. But for them, they are drowning and it is overwhelming and they're crying out. And what they're needing is somebody to stand on the side and say, I see you drowning. I'm going to throw you a life raft. I'm going to pull you to the side and then we're going to sit and we're going to calm down. That was scary. But most of us, you know what we do? We lecture. You shouldn't have even been in the pool. You know what? How many times did I tell you? Okay? That's what our tendency is to make it a lesson learned. That's not the time to teach the swimming lessons. Okay? It's the time to feel, to empathize, to help them know they're not alone. They're connected. Somebody in this world is getting me. And in that, the brain will take care of itself and calm itself down. Now, when we look at mental illness, the spectrum, it's harder for the brain that's really struggling and has some hormonal shifts and things that are going on in mental health. It's harder to regulate. But even still, with human connection and somebody who's in the room helping, it still can happen no matter where you were at. And it's the typical brain or it's somebody that really struggles with chronic depression. Being not alone when you feel like you're drowning is the key. Okay? And it is also, some of us are on the other side. We're not giving lectures, but we've now jumped in the pool with them and we're both drowning. Right? I'll save you! That's a bad thing to do too, right? Because they're going to take you down with them. Okay? So those are our big feelers, and then those of us that really care deeply and want to fix our kids' problems, and we end up getting surrounded by it all and can't see objectively, stay on the side of the pool, keep our lids on, okay? And to try to feel it with them, but also be able to use our rational brain to say, we're gonna be okay, we're gonna make it through this. Being able to name feelings for teenagers is huge, because a lot of times they don't even know what to identify it. So if you have a really small spectrum of feeling vocabulary, angry and sad, or angry, sad, and happy, or angry, sad, and hungry. If that's all you have, then you want to be able to develop this a little bit more. And a way to practice this art of noticing, pay attention to your teen a little bit more. You'll notice they actually have quite a spectrum of feelings. Today, that's your disgusting face. That's your surprise, shock that your mom even knows about that. So being able to really pay attention to those facial cues, to the words you're hearing. Really what I'm asking you to do is engage your teenager and not run the other way, or your teenagers, when we have a lot of them, okay? It's hard, it's exhausting, it's tiring, and if anything else you hear also that you have your own stuff going on, so you have to take care of yourself to make it through this. So to have your own ways of coping and keeping your lid on so that you can help navigate your teen through these hard places. So taking your own timeouts, listening to your own music, having your anger places. Do you know I have a punching bag? Not because I'm like super into exercise, but because it is my anger place. And we use it as a family. It must be fun being a child of a therapist. Poor children, they had a pastor and a therapist for parents for a while. That was fun. So pray for them. But in terms of the punching bag, that's something we practice, is giving my kids outlets for when they're angry. It's okay to be angry. We'll take it out on the bag, and then you can tell me what you're feeling. Or maybe I can handle what you're feeling, and you need to just tell me, and they say mean things, and I mirror, validate, empathize. Or I say, I'm going to the punching bag, I'll be back. That's how we work. But it's the teaching each other that it's okay to not be okay, and what do we do when we're not being okay? And part of that is getting people on your team if you are not able to do it. And that isn't a shaming place. That's really an acceptance and a humility to say, I can't do this alone. None of us can. So depending on the severity of what we're working through, we need each other. We need each other. So developing the art of noticing, paying attention. When I do this, there's so many things about my kids' physical appearance that I notice. Oh, I didn't realize you had a mole under your left eye. So cueing in on details. And it helps your kid realize they're important in the world. On that internet, where everybody's important, who am I? I've got some people that know even the mole in their mole. So what I want you to do is turn and practice. You are actually going to mirror. You're going to validate. You're going to empathize. So what you're going to do is take turns. You're going to share a situation with a team. As vulnerable as you want to be. Okay? Say, here was the situation, and then you as the listener are going to mirror that. And as soon as the person who is the talker, the speaker, is done sharing, then it's your turn to validate. I can see how you did that, or why you did that, or how you got to that thought. And then if you can try to grab a feeling word, that seems hard. That seems really scary. That seems frustrating. Okay? And the person who's speaking will tell you whether you're right on or not. You'll feel it. You'll go, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was feeling. Or they'll say, oh, maybe I wasn't angry. I was actually really sad. And that's okay. That's part of how we do it. And your team will do that for you too. They'll correct you when you don't get it right.
Are we supposed to tell the story from our perspective or our child told us?
The key is to practice the listening skill. So you're just sharing the story.
Okay.
So whatever story you feel could happen this morning in getting ready for church, or it could be, try not to get too deep because we only have 5 minutes. Yeah. Actually, this is a skill that takes a lot of practice, and you can use it in every aspect of your life. So practice on your dog, practice with your spouses, practice with your colleagues, practice with your friends. Mirror, validate, empathize wherever you can with your teams, remembering that they're primary emotional, and then they're working on integrating. Now the thing I didn't add is that once we've gotten out of the pool and we're sitting on the side of the pool, now we can actually talk about it. What happened? How can we do that different next time? It might even have to be another day, right? Not that day. To come back around to it. And so the question always is, well, when can we talk about the lesson learned and what we want to do different, or discipline, or there's a time for that. It's just not while the teen is emotional and overwhelmed because their lid is flipped and they're drowning, and it is the time to pull them to the side. Once the brain has calmed down, that's when we can engage that logical part of the brain, and we can talk about the reasoning piece. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. So in terms of kind of some basic principles that we're going to walk through, and hopefully there's one or two that you're going to lock onto and say, okay, I'm going to work on that. And then I trust the Holy Spirit to bring up the other ones when you need them. But there's just one that you need to walk away with and say, this is the one I'm focusing on because my team needs this right here and right now. And so the first one is focus on the donut, not the hole. Okay? Focus on what is there. Who your kid is, not who they are not. Yeah. What happens is that, right, the kid who's getting all these critiques for where they miss the mark, they get all kinds of unhealthy habits and hurts and issues that come up, okay? So if you have a hard time with this, you probably have a hard time with this for yourself as well. So working on that in your own life. Who am I? What are the sprinkles on me? and not the comparing game. Your kids are already comparing themselves to everyone in the world. And And so they need somebody to help them point out, who am I? What do I have? What are the gifts I have? And even our weaknesses. You know, we joke, we've got two very different kids. My oldest could be termed as shy. And so instead of it being shy as a whole, we've reframed it to say she is wise. She will stand and she will watch and she will observe until she has made up her mind that it is safe and it is what she wants to do. You will not make her do anything she doesn't want to do. And so I can see that long term, she's going to be left out in things, but she's going to do what she wants to do when she wants to do it. And that's going to be a very wise thing in the long run. Or we can call it shy and say, hey, you really need to work on this, and we need to get you to be more outgoing.